two, one, and we're live. Hey guys, my name is Uzel Alfaro. Thank you so much for clicking on this video today. And the question that I'm going to attempt my best to answer is, does the Bible make me wise or does it make me foolish? And so, yeah, that's going to be a very exciting question to answer. If you're here, it's probably because you're just like me. You have the spirit of a Berean. The Bible talks a little bit about the Jewish people in Berea and how they had a very kind spirit and a very kind spirit towards the word of the Lord. And if you're a Berean like me, which we'll talk a little bit about who they are and their role, you're clicking on this video because you love the word and you just can't have enough of it. And so welcome back to the Olive Press channel. A really quick life update before I start to answer the question and get into today's short study. I want to give a life update. In the last video, I got a chance to share about me and my wife expecting a baby. And so we got some wonderful, wonderful news. We had a little gender reveal with our friends and family. The doctor had given it to us just last Wednesday. She had written it down. The doctor had written it down on a little note, and she asked us if we wanted to know what the baby gender was, and we said, "Can you put it on a note, please? We want to do a little gender reveal. You know, the really cute ones that people do." But that same night, we just could not. We could not wait any longer. We were looking at that envelope in the car, and we said, "You know what? We're just going to call all of our family members, our siblings, my wife's siblings," and we ended up meeting up at my sister Maggie's house. And we found out that we're having a baby girl. That is right, a baby girl. And so I already got text messages and a bunch of comments, people congratulating us. Thank you so much for the congratulations. And you know, people warning me about future boyfriends and such. And so my baby girl, obviously, she's going to have crushes one day, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. And so thank you so much to God, first and foremost, for blessing us, and for everybody that congratulated us. Now, does the Bible make me wise or does it make me foolish? To start off, let's read some portions of the scriptures where this comes from. Matthew chapter 7, verse 24. We have Jesus speaking here. It says this: "Everyone then who hears these words of mine and does them will be like a wise man who built his house on a rock. And the rain fell, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat on that house. But it did not fall, because it had been founded on the rock. And everyone who hears these words of mine and does not do them will be like a foolish man who built his house on the sand. And the rain fell, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat against that house. And it fell, and great was the fall of it." Yeah, we have Jesus once again coming in the scene and exhorting us, telling us to make sure that we build our houses on the rock. We understand that Jesus himself is that rock. When it comes to Bible teachings, and it comes to, asking questions and going to somebody that you trust, we want somebody to just sometimes give us a solid answer, right? We want somebody to tell us, just tell me what the scriptures mean. Just tell me what it means. I want to know what it means. When it comes to topics like, especially when it comes to topics concerning like the book of Revelations, the book of Daniel, the book of Ezekiel, these prophetic books. And the book of Revelations, though it's found in a New Testament written by John the Baptist, it's very much an Old Testament book filled with prophecy and filled with things that are yet to come. Though I know that many viewers could be preterist. Preterism is very strong in these days. Preterists believe that these events in the book of Revelations had already been fulfilled, had already been done around the year 70 AD, 65 to 70 AD, with the general Titus and the Temple of Jerusalem falling. However, these events in the book of Revelation are very much future events that are yet still to come, that are yet still to be fulfilled. When it comes to topics of like the 666, what is the mark of the beast? What is the image of the beast? In the book of Matthew, a very popular topic is like, what is the sign of Jonah? What is the sign of the coming of the Son of Man, of the Baranasha, the Son of Man? What does the war in Jerusalem mean? Is this the end? And so when it comes to Bible teaching, we're seeking for solid answers. We're seeking for the answer, right? Tell us what it means. Tell us what it's about. In reality, if we're not careful, especially as teachers, especially as people that love the word, like if we're not careful and have the spirit of a Berean, we could very much present and be very foolish to bring in extra biblical material meaning material from the outside, from some outside of the scriptures, outside of the canon of scriptures. And we could bring in these extra biblical ideas and suggest that, this is what 666 means, right? This is what the mark of the beast is. This is who the Antichrist is. And it's very important that we have a balance and then we have the spirit of a Berean and allow the word to say what it means. Allow the word to teach us and tell us what it means, so that we could be these wise men, like Jesus said, when we implement the word, when we take the words of Jesus, and we could build our house on the rock that is Yeshua himself. And so with the Olive Press channel starting off, I want to just be clear. I want to do my best as a young man. I mean, I'm 27 years old. As a young man and with a baby on the way and somebody that loves the word, I want to present solid exegesis. And I'm praying that the Lord can lift up a generation of Bereans, people that don't just believe the first thing that is thrown at them, but people that can actually go to the Olive Press, go to the word, and let the word speak for itself, and let the word say what it wants to say. And so, real quick, in Matthew chapter 16, just a couple chapters ahead, Matthew 16, verse 1 through 3. So the Pharisees and Sadducees are talking to Jesus, and they're demanding a sign. They're demanding some evidence, right? It says, and the Pharisees and Sadducees came and test Yeshua. They asked him to show them a sign from heaven. He answered them, when it is evening, you say it will be fair weather, for the sky is red. And in the morning, it will be stormy today, for the sky is red and threatening. You know how to interpret the appearance of the sky, but you cannot interpret the signs of the times. So here we have Jesus getting asked for a sign. The Pharisees and Sadducees, Jewish men, are asking Jesus for evidence that he is the Mashiach, the evidence of being the Son of Man, the Baranasha, as the book of Daniel expresses, which I really hope we get to talk about in future sessions. But they're asking for a sign, and Jesus says, hey, you guys know how to read the sky. You guys are very good at reading the sky. You see the sky the night before, and you're able to tell whether it's going to rain the next morning or whether it's going to be a pleasant morning. You can read the skies, but you cannot interpret the signs of the times. And he's exhorting them because the problem with studying the word, the problem with having the scriptures is if we're not careful and we are not applying it properly with the wisdom of God, we could end up very foolish. It says in verse 4, An evil and adulterous generation seeks for a sign. Look at that. We seek for a sign, but no sign will be given to it except the sign of Jonah. So he left them and departed. Yeah, Jesus here says, yeah, you're asking for a sign. Your generation, he calls them an adulterous generation, seeking for a sign, seeking for evidence. He says, but no sign will be given to it except the sign of Jonah. And so we understand that that generation, that specific generation, was given a sign, and it was the sign of Jonah. The sign of Jonah meaning Jonah spending 3 nights in the belly of a great fish. Some people claim it to be a whale. Just as Jonah spent 3 days, 3 nights in the belly of a great fish, that Jesus himself will spend 3 days, 3 nights in the belly of the earth. And that's all that generation got as far as a sign. So we get Jesus telling them, you can read the skies, but you can't read the signs. Can you not see that the Baranasha, the Son of Man, is here before you, is here now. The promised one, the anointed one, is here now. There's 2 prophecies that are yet to be. At the time, one of them being completed, the first coming of the Mashiach. The second one being the second coming of the Mashiach. And you didn't see the signs, says Jesus to the Pharisees and Sadducees. You didn't see the signs of my first coming. And he exhorts them for not being able to tell the signs, for not being able to read the signs. Yeshua rebuked them for having knowledge of the word, but not having applied the word. And so, going back to Matthew chapter 7, with that teaching, it says, Matthew chapter 7, verse 24, everyone then who hears these words of mine and does them, applies them, will be like a wise man who built his house on a rock. And the rain fell and the floods came, the winds blew and beat on that house, but it did not fall, because it had been founded on the rock. 26. And everyone who hears these words of mine and does not do them will be like a foolish man who built his house on the sand. And the rain fell and the floods came and the winds blew and beat against that house, and it fell. And great was the fall of it. Yeah. Does the Bible make me wise, or does it make me foolish? The difference is here, and I believe that it's important that we talk about this in the Olive Press channel at least once before we start a series. I really, my desire, my prayer is that God can develop a really great series. We could go through the book of Habakkuk, the book of Isaiah. Please leave a comment below on what kind of studies you guys would like to have here at the Olive Press. But Jesus is telling us that what makes the difference is, are you reading the word? Are you going to the word to gain knowledge? Are you just building a bunker of knowledge where you can hide yourself? Are you going to the word for knowledge? But what makes the difference between a wise man and a foolish man is a man who, or a woman who reads the word for knowledge, and a person who reads the word to apply that knowledge, to apply the word of the Lord. I really feel that the desire of God is not only that we have good exegesis and good teachings and good content, but that we have men and women that can go to the word and apply the word in their lives, so that we can be like this wise man who built their house on the rock. Are we building our houses over a house of knowledge? Or are we building our houses over the rock of the revelation of who Jesus Christ is, of who Yeshua is? Next, chapter 17, just to wrap up today's session. And I believe that God is going to continue to speak to all of us through the Olive Press podcast, through his word. In Acts chapter 17, we get Paul and Silas. They're in their ministry, the height of their ministry, and they're going to Athens. They're going to Thessalonica. They're going all over Greece. And Paul and Silas go to that region. In Acts chapter 17, verse 10, it says, the brothers immediately sent Paul and Silas away by night to Berea. And when they arrived, they went into the Jewish synagogue. Now these Jews were more noble than those in Thessalonica. They received the word with all eagerness, it says, examining the scriptures daily to see if these things were so. Let me just read that one more time. That is so awesome. Now these Jews were more noble than those in Thessalonica. They received the word with eagerness, examining the scriptures daily to see if these things were so. In some versions of the Bible, it says to see if these things were true. Yeah, we got to learn this lesson. We got to learn the lesson of the Bereans. We get Paul celebrating them, right? We get Paul basically saying congratulations, for you guys are more noble. It's a group of Jewish men, and I'm very sure Jewish women as well, that were more noble. And what makes them more noble? What makes their heart more just? What makes their heart more good? And it says that they received the word with all eagerness, examining the scriptures daily to see if these things were so. Guys, we are living in such consequential times, when a generation will not believe just anything that is thrown their way. They won't believe just anything that is being said. They won't believe everything that their pastor says just because their pastor looks great, just because the church was organized great. No, we're living in the times, in a generation that is going to run to the words to see if these things were so. That they're going to test the word of the Lord. They're going to test the knowledge that is coming towards them. They don't, because this generation doesn't just want knowledge, and I'm speaking things in faith. I'm speaking it in faith, that this generation doesn't just want knowledge. This generation wants the truth. This generation doesn't want a bunker of enlightenment. This generation desires truth. And just like the Jewish men, the Bereans, that were in the synagogue listening to the sermon of Paul, they didn't just believe what Paul said, but that they actually went to the scriptures to make sure, hey, what you're saying is true. And so I saw a little video about in Berea, how that place is completely changed now, but they believe to still have the steps where Paul, perhaps even Silas, where they were teaching from. And it was just encouraging to see that the paintings were Paul and the students, the Jewish men, the Bereans, but they had the scriptures right in their hands, right? They had the scriptures right in front of them to see if these things were so. And so, does the Bible make me wise, or does it make me a fool? Does it make me foolish? And I believe that the answer is in the spirit of the Bereans. The answer is in the lesson of the wise man and the foolish man, the teachings of Yeshua, that don't just listen to the word. Don't just listen to your pastor teach. Don't just, that these videos in the Olive Press won't be enough. The future videos and the future studies that we'll have about topics and about the books, that these won't be enough, but that we're going to go to the scriptures on our own to make sure that these things are so, and apply them into our life, so that we won't stumble to be in another generation of evil, as Yeshua said, as Jesus said, another generation of evil, that they're just asking for more evidence. Because the Pharisees and Sadducees, though they loved Hashem being the name, they loved God. They believed they loved God. They believed they were serving God. They were in covenant with God, and of course they were. But Jesus said, "Man, you guys are evil." Because how could it be that you can read the skies, but you can't recognize the signs of the coming of Yeshua, and I'm the coming of the Baranasha, the Son of Man. I'm right here in front of you. Because of that, you're only going to get the sign of Jonah. You're only going to get to see me die, on the third day resurrect. You're only going to get to see that. And so, Jesus will come back. And I believe in the Maranatha cry. Maranatha meaning that Jesus, that God, Yahweh, the cloud rider, God has come once, but he will come again. Let's recognize the signs. Let's recognize the word. Let's read the word. Let's apply the word so that we can recognize the times that we're living in, so that we can recognize and know the word. And then be like that wise man that built their house on the rock. Let's have the spirit of a Berean. These young men in the book of Acts that didn't just believe what Paul told them, but actually read the word to see if it was true. So amen and amen. God bless you. We'll see you soon. Thank you so much for being here today. Like, share, and subscribe. Olive Press Podcast. My name is Uzel Alfaro. God bless you.